The internet is constantly evolving, and since its inception, it's gone through numerous stages that have brought on new technology and new developments. For those of you who aren't familiar with these stages, they are Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, and now there's even a jump to Web 5. And if you're trying to figure out what are the differences between all these different stages of the web, why do we have all these different stages, well then you've come to the right place. Welcome to Entra's beginner guide to understanding the stages of the web. In this video, I want to briefly explain these stages so that as we move through them, you guys will have a better understanding of what's happening and what's changing. So to start things off, let's begin with Web 1. Web 1 is basically the origin of the internet. It was the first stage of the web and it started around 1991 and lasted to about 2004. In Web 1, the basic model of the internet was a read-only system. This basically means that there were only a few creators who would actually be putting out content, but then a ton of consumers who would actually be going through and reading that information. However, reading through that information, that was the extent of what the consumers could do. There were no comments, no feedback, no pop-up ads, no nothing. You could read the information and that's it. And to a lot of people, this made the internet feel basically impractical. For this reason, the growth of Web 1 was considered pretty minimal, especially in comparison to what happened with Web 2. Around 2004, the idea of Web 2 started to circulate the internet. This new version of the web allowed social connectivity, user interaction, and user-generated content. It brought on social media like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, where anybody could choose to create content and upload it for others to see. And with this new user interaction feature, users could now like, comment, and share media. This allowed anyone to have the reach of hundreds of millions of people on the internet, something that never would have happened in Web 1. As of 2022, when this video is being filmed, we're currently in the transition between Web 2 and what's known as Web 3. So Web 3 is a very young stage of the internet that's yet to show its full potential, but we have been able to pinpoint some of its main concepts. These are decentralization, user utility, and openness. Now, let's break those down into more digestible terms. Decentralization refers to how user data is stored within the internet. Currently, user data is being stored in a small number of large centralized locations that have full access of that data and how it's being used. These locations include massive tech companies like Meta and Instagram that have these mega databases and they get to control where that data goes. And they've been caught using the data for the wrong things like political influence and targeted ads. And currently, there's not much that users can do about their data and about how it's being used by these mega companies. However, in a decentralized web, like Web 3, data is going to be stored in a large number of small locations so that users will have a lot more control over their data. User utility refers to a more personalized internet experience for the users. The web will essentially be custom tailored to each user. Utility also refers to the ownership of things like NFTs and crypto, which rely on blockchain technology, which under the restrictions of Web 2, it can't be used to its full potential yet. The openness of Web 3 refers to the fact that there is no regulatory body that can tell you what you can and what you can't say online. Nothing can be censored or banned, and all content can be uploaded and remain on the web. Now, this could lead us to an internet that's more free and more representative of the people, but it could also lead to some dark and dangerous parts of the web. And that's just kind of the double-edged sword that you have to come to terms with when you're creating such an open version of the internet. So currently, we are experiencing the transition between Web 2 and Web 3 as the Web 3 technology is now being integrated into our current internet. Many people have been trying so hard to understand Web 3, and right as people were kind of starting to get their heads wrapped around it, Twitter founder Jack Dorsey announced that he wanted to create what he calls Web 5. Now, Web 5 is truly in its infancy and probably won't be implemented for the next couple of years. But I will say that its technology has some incredibly impressive utility that's going to go hand in hand with what Web 3 hopes to offer. So the first thing that you need to know about Web 5 is that Web 5 is going to be built on the Bitcoin blockchain. So the reason that Jack chose to build Web 5 on Bitcoin's blockchain is because unlike Ethereum and Solana, Bitcoin doesn't have a single point of failure system. Bitcoin's blockchain is much more secured by multiple points of failure and multiple checks. And according to Jack, this makes it way more suitable for the ideas that Web 3 and Web 5 hope to bring. So the main pillars that Web 5 is trying to add to the existing Web 3 system all revolves around one thing, and that's identity. Web 5 founder Jack Dorsey was quoted as saying, "The web democratized the exchange of information, but it's missing a key layer, identity. We struggle to secure personal data with hundreds of accounts and passwords we can't remember." On the web today, identity and personal data have become the property of third parties. Web 5 brings decentralized identity and data storage to your applications. It lets devs focus on creating delightful user experiences while returning ownership of data and identity to individuals. So as of now, that's basically all we know about Web 5. And like I said, I think that Web 5 is probably a couple years away, and we still have a ton of work to do on Web 3 to be able to fully transition out of Web 2. So I really hope that this video helped you guys understand the basic differences between the stages of the internet. Because having that baseline of knowledge is so important, because you never know, as we get introduced to Web 6, 7, 8, whatever's coming next, it's good to understand what we're in right now. So thank you so much for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe for more videos about Web 3, tech, and crypto. And as always, make sure that you guys join Entra so that you can be a part of the biggest and the best Web 3 professional network.